Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. Please subscribe, guys. It really does help with the algorithm, and a thumbs up never hurts as well. Michael at Val5Links bringing this to our attention. The Deputy Governor of the Bank of England said they would front-run rules from the Basel Committee on capital backing of crypto assets. So this just coming out, guys, from the Bank of England. The Deputy Governor of the Bank of England said they would front-run rules from the Basel Committee on backing crypto assets. On Thursday, which was just yesterday, Sam Woods, the Deputy Governor, stated that his country would be the first to take on global rules regarding banks and crypto assets. This would be in avoidance of Britain's banks gaining major exposure to crypto assets without sufficient capital backing. The rules which Woods refers to are those proposed by the Basel Committee of the banking regulators. The committee recently stated the development of the regulations which could become the standard for major global banks. Moreover, these rules include disciplinary fees, which may prohibit lenders' involvement in the crypto space. So they are really ramping up and front-running, as they say, front-running these rules in order to allow for crypto asset holdings on banks' balance sheets, but really trying to make sure that there are, the necessary rules in place in order for this to take place properly. So according to these rules, major banks which would hold crypto assets need sufficient capital backing relative to the amount of crypto, of course. The Deputy Governor called these rules quite sensible and said the banks don't have enough exposure to crypto. So there's a huge opportunity in crypto, and a lot of these bankers, they realize that, but they got to go about it prudently. They can't just throw caution to the wind and say, to hell with it, we'll just do whatever we want. It doesn't work that way. Here's a quote: "We would not want to stop firms doing things that make commercial sense, but we could take a very conservative view on capital treatment, and if necessary, we would therefore front run, maybe not exactly in the same way, but we would put some capital measures in place." Interesting to note that. Wanted to thank Michael at Val5Links for posting that. Another one, guys, here from Trevor Roke here on Twitter with regards to RippleX, and they're announcing their first XRP grants. So this used to be the Spring Initiative, now called RippleX. Ripple's developer arm, RippleX, has announced its first wave of grants to promote the development of the XRP ledger. So more than 100 developers applied for the program, and RippleX ended up choosing 25 grantees from 10 different countries and awarded them about $2 million. 3 of them are part of Ripple's University Blockchain Research Initiative. So Ripple has invested the money and the time in these initiatives, obviously wanting to get more people to develop on the XRPL, creating that robust ecosystem so that more banks, more companies around the world can offer solutions on the XRPL, and it just makes sense. Well, now they have decided they are funding 25 grantees, a grand total of $2 million. The projects that are getting funded by RippleX deal with a broad selection of issues, such as development of non-fungible tokens, so NFTs are really big now, educational tools for interacting with the XRPL, as well as payment solutions. So sticking to the traditional payment solutions, but also adding in non-fungible tokens and educational tools for interacting with the XRPL. All things that will likely have an impact on, the future of how one utilizes the XRPL. Of course, many different use cases. It's not just for payments, and, Ripple, smart at how they are approaching this, create an arm that funds, that helps support developers create on the XRPL. That essentially will give the XRPL more value to many different companies, not just payment companies. So from there, more companies will be utilizing the XRPL, obviously using XRP or maybe another cryptocurrency, but XRP, of course, the native token, and thus that will eventually give XRP more value. The more demand there is for XRP, the more value it will hold, and thus the price will go up if it is in high demand. Great news there. Wanted to thank Trevor for posting that. I also saw this, guys, from XRP Crypto Wolf. So this is with regards to Ripple partner Siam Bank. Apparently, the big Thai bank SCB is going to create a $6 million blockchain digital asset fintech fund. So Siam Commercial Bank, Thailand's second largest bank, is creating a $600 to $800 million fund, the Global Disruptive Technology Venture Capital Fund. It's a joint venture with major Thai conglomerate Charoen Pokphand Group, or CP Group. And its focus is on blockchain, digital assets, fintech, and other emerging technology innovations, as per this article. The joint venture has a 50-50 ownership structure and will be co-managed by CP Group and SCB 10X. The division set up in early 2020, which announced a $50 million blockchain, digital asset, and DeFi fund back in February. And in even bigger news, the entire bank is restructuring with a new holding company, SCBX, transforming into a new technology group. The move is in response to the changing role of banks and the face of decentralized finance global platforms in a post-beer flu world. So these banks are realizing something is coming down the pipe. And in yesterday's afternoon video, if you guys didn't catch that video, I will link it up here. I did talk about the lawsuit a little bit and the Perkins Coie partner who had a hand in perhaps shaping William Hinman's opinion on Ethereum before that infamous speech that William Hinman delivered all the way back in 2018. But I also talked about this idea that this has been in the works for a while with regards to the transformation of the new financial system. It was interesting to see Time Magazine's headline, Time 2030, looking at the next decade of how we are going to change post-beer flu pandemic, and how that really does kind of coincide with the World Economic Forum's vision of their 2030 vision. They want to make it sound like it's just a coincidence that both of these big organizations have, 2030 in their new title for this decade. Of course, this is going to be a decade of change. Little did we know that back in January and February of 2020. Anyway, so SCB Bank, obviously, also considering changes. We know cryptocurrency going to be a big part of that. CEO and chairman, they spoke about the changing business model, making traditional banking fees less and less important. Such conventional roles will no longer satisfy the emerging needs and expectations of consumers. Consumer reliance on banks will wane, which will unavoidably have a negative impact on the future value proposition of traditional banking investors. Hence, its plans to expand into other types of financial business aggressively. It is crucial to quickly enter this new arena of competition in order to survive in the next 3 to 5 years. This coming from the CEO of SCB. Notably, last year, JP Morgan made an unusual move of creating Onyx brand for its activities in the blockchain and digital asset sector. Standard Chartered, which is also a Ripple partner, has also been very active in setting up new ventures, or rather, not a Ripple partner so much as one of Ripple's early investors. So interesting to see, a lot of these, SCB, definitely a Ripple partner, and they mentioned Standard Chartered down here as well. Transforming the bank for a new era, it makes a lot of sense. Of course, this is not the only development that has to do with SCB, because apparently Novatti has also partnered with SCB to bring RippleNet to Thailand. So press is pointed to noting ODL between Australia and the Philippines, but mentions RippleNet for Thailand. So although SCB was a Ripple partner, the RippleNet piece of it was not fully functional. Of course, a lot of these banks still do need to integrate to leverage XRP for those quick cross-border transfers. Well, now we have Novatti, and so this has been the latest development. Novatti's partnership with Ripple has now expanded to Thailand and is generating revenue. Follows the momentum of Novatti tapping on RippleNet's on-demand liquidity service for remittances between Australia and the Philippines. Again, highlights Novatti's ability to monetize its existing ecosystem in new markets. Discussions underway to launch in additional markets across Southeast Asia. So it gives you a little bit of information on what they are doing specifically up here. Just going to scroll down here. With this expansion to Thailand, Novatti has partnered with the first Thai bank, Siam Commercial Bank, or SCB, through RippleNet. This is expected to result in thousands of transactions a month being processed by Novatti through RippleNet. Revenue from this partnership is dependent on take-up of the services. So boom, we had SCB on RippleNet, but Novatti, of course, that piece of the puzzle that needed to be implemented in order for them to really kind of scale this, I think. And, a lot of these companies, a lot of these banks, if you guys remember back to 2018, they were interested in RippleNet. They said, publicly, and a lot of them did, that they were partnering with RippleNet. But at that time, they were using the Xcurrent solution, which did not involve XRP, which I know, remember, a lot of the BTC maximalists and a lot of the XRP detractors were saying, look, they're not even using XRP. How good is this? This is a crap coin, so on and so forth. But, after examining this at length, I realized what they were doing, and I did a video on that way back in 2018. I'll link it up here if you guys are interested in some of the history. Ripple was basically acting as a drug dealer, trying to get as many people on board, trying to get as many people hooked as possible with their Xcurrent product. And then once you're hooked, Bam, slap them with XRapid, which at that time was called XRapid, but is now called ODL, utilizing XRP. Once all the regulations around the world have become clear, boom, that's when you slap them with that. And I feel like this is what we're seeing today slowly. I mean, it's not happening all at once. I mean, I wish we were seeing it all at once. It's not happening all at once. Nevertheless, I think this is what we're seeing now with these types of partnerships, even though we know, historically SCB Bank has been partnered with Ripple, but of course, the expansion of this Novatti Ripple partnership into Thailand again highlights how Novatti can leverage its existing ecosystem to enter new markets. This is a model we will seek to replicate going forward, including in other new markets in Southeast Asia. So Novatti, obviously, they're very hungry for more business as well. They recently integrated with RippleNet, and now I guess they are going to be the ones targeting the banks in that region. And they say here, right, it's going to generate a lot of revenue for these guys because think of how much money they are saving on the fees. Fees are going to be a thing of the past as, the narrative has continued to go. Why are we spending so much money on fees when we can leverage XRP for that liquidity? Nostro and Vostro accounts will be abolished eventually, not right this second, but eventually they will be a thing of the past. And, people don't want to pay fees, especially if you are somebody who doesn't make a lot of money to begin with. And so, a lot of migrant workers, a lot of people sending money home, and usually home is Southeast Asia. In a lot of cases, this is really going to help those populations be able to participate in the global economy and not feel like they're being fleeced by companies that are charging them, 15, 20% fees, whatever it is, to transfer funds. So Ripple's model, of course, fractions of pennies to send XRP at a fraction of the time, 3 to 5 seconds, whatever it ends up being. It's basically seconds, under a minute, fast, efficient, affordable, everything you want in a transfer. And so Novatti, with their new partnership with SCB, I believe it is just the beginning. Ripple, obviously, a very important piece of this puzzle. And so I think we're going to continue to see this roll out. Novatti and SCB, just the first in a number of partnerships that we'll likely see in the coming months and years, eventually giving the XRPL more and more value, thus pushing the price of XRP higher and higher when there is more demand. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.